Midday Report. Hello again, I'm Evan Jansen standing in for Natasha Thorpe at this hour. Time now for us to shift focus a little bit and have a look at what's trending on social media this week. Joining me, SABC Multimedia News producer Motloung. Good morning, good afternoon. I'm saying good morning to everybody. I'm still in morning mode. Now, it's been an interesting news week, hasn't it? It's been a very busy news week. A lot has been said on social media. I think the one that probably rocks South Africa is the one that's been in the news the most, the Tshwane protest, as the hashtag has become known. Just tell us how big this was and how it kind of showed up on the feeds.
Well, it was a big discourse on social media. It started on Sunday afternoon when one of the buses was caught on fire. And when you look at social media, it had over 22 million impressions, which is very big, meaning that it trended in more than one country internationally. And it was also supported by other hashtags like the ANC mayoral protest, but also this comes after the whole ANC mayoral announcement. But when we looked at the hashtag itself, it started late Sunday night. And it was also tweeted by a news agency, so it was not tweeted by the people who were actually taking protests. So they kind of branded the protest. And what we saw during the week is journalists were being attacked. We were going into this townships or this place of discourse because we are starting to notice that there is a rejection of intrusiveness that is happening while the protest is taking place, because people come in with their smartphones and they label a protest without actually verifying the facts. I mean, if you look at the first few tweets that came out, there was no verification. Media houses just jumped with the hashtag and they made it their own.
Yeah, it's a very interesting one about what's happening on social media. The kind of reportage that we're seeing, lots of unverified stuff is really quite dangerous, isn't it?
It is dangerous, especially when you go into a protest like that or a looting situation like that with your own mandate or with your own, as I would say, agenda behind it. Because if the first picture that came out, there were no people wearing any political party regalia, and the following tweets that came out was it was an ANC mayoral contest.
Yeah, it's very easy for that kind of thing to happen. But it also speaks to how politically aware we are as South Africans and so forth. I'm interested in what I see. In a Twitter snap poll run by Digital News, you guys, 79% of those who participated, they did not know who their own ward councillor was. Now, how can one find out who is your ward councillor? It's actually your responsibility to know that, isn't it?
It is your responsibility, but SABC has made it easier. On our new election website, we make it easier for you to navigate. I mean, one illustration that we have for you guys is when you go to Gauteng. We did create a photo snack, a graphic. When you go to Gauteng, you click on the graphic. It will take you then to the district that you're in. We're using Tshwane in this example. And when you click on Tshwane, it will give you a ward. And it will also show you how many ANC votes are won in that ward and how many belong to the DA. And it will also give you the name of the ward councillor.
Yeah, we've got the poll here on the big screen behind me. It says, do you know who your ward councillor is? 79% of people say no. And I mean, nearly 200 votes. So it's big enough to kind of give you a genuine sense about where we are, South Africa. But now, I just had an interview with Aldrin Samper. We spoke about what happened in the High Court. Of course, the President Jacob Zuma and the MPA's leave to appeal decision was dismissed there. What kind of conversation have we seen around this on social media so far?
I mean, you'd also know that what's happening in the UK also with the Brett X. People are comparing the two situations, and they are saying the president should do what Cameron did in the UK. But when we look at the numbers, we had it reached over 1 million accounts worldwide, and it had over 1.3 impressions on social media, meaning about 1.3 million people saw this tweet, engaged with it, but 1 million of them are actively talking about the spy tapes, and they're actively spreading the word around. As you can see, within 3 minutes, within 3 minutes of it being announced, it had so many, about 1 million accounts.
Yeah, there's a lot of interest in that sort of. But what about Brexit? Brexit has been the story of the day so far. Never mind what's happened in South Africa. Britain leaving, and then David Cameron coming out and saying, "Oh, he'll step down within 3 months." That must cause it's caused a lot of tremors on social media. I would think.
It did. I mean, as you can look at the screen right now, we had over 6 million impressions. I mean, so many people were tweeting about it. 1.4 accounts or 1.4 tweets that went out caused so much interest on social media.
Well, Neo, thank you very much for joining us today. That's your work in social media. That's the tail of the tape, as it were. You can go to all our digital platforms, sabc.co.za/news.
Yes.
That's right. Yeah, I got it right eventually. Thanks. Neo Motloung, he's a multimedia